I'm Richard Wilkinson. I'm a composer for games and films and other stuff, and I'm making an album, and this is video number 3. In the last one, I picked an oblique strategies card, and it told me to discover the recipes you are using and abandon them. I thought, what are my recipes? What is the stuff that I usually use and the kind of processes that I normally follow when I make music? So half of that is already my plan for the album, to not use sample libraries or fake keyboard instruments, synthesizers, stuff like that. They sound amazing, and I use them on so many projects, but for this particular project I just felt like it would be an interesting creative exercise to not do that and to use found sounds, processed sounds, me playing real stuff and maybe other people playing real stuff as well. And I usually sketch out ideas on score paper or by improvising on the piano. I almost always use a click track, a metronome, to make sure that my stuff is all nicely lined up on the beat. When I say I write on piano, I mean that both as a process and as a sound source. So I use the piano sound, it sounds like a piano, but I also use the piano to kind of figure out voicings and melodies and get the mood and the energy and the tone right. So for this particular track, no sample libraries, no fake instruments, no synths, no piano, no click track. The other thing I did was to grab a load of work in progress titles from headlines, articles, conversations, stuff like that, that followed a vague timeline from the beginnings of the pandemic to the eventual return to normality, whatever that ends up being. And this set of instructions that I had, the discard recipes thing, it seemed to fit what my idea was for the first track, which was something to kind of encapsulate the idea of the virus. Something organic, but not massively musical, not massively pleasant, a bit unpredictable and rough. Probably a shorter track, a prologue to the album. So this is me, literally writing the first notes for this track, track 1 on the album. I actually found it really refreshing to go from imagining a sound that I wanted in my head and just grabbing a microphone and making the sound, instead of looking through all of these wonderful sample libraries and synthesizers that I've got. So just doing it instinctively and organically using the microphone was a really interesting shortcut. And a bit of pitch shifting and distortion and reverb and stuff can turn those sounds into something really unique and different. Another thing I put in here is early one morning the birds were singing outside the window, so I quickly grabbed the recorder and recorded those, and then processed them again, pitched them down a lot, and they sound like alien dinosaurs. It's such a otherworldly sound, but it's got this organic quality to it, and it sounds, some of it sounded almost like an alarm, which I thought fitted this perfectly. Towards the end of it, I introduced a motif based around intervals of 1 semitone, so 1 half step for Americans, and 9 semitones, just using those. It's a kind of repeating, expanding, relentless little idea based on 1 and 9 for the 19 in COVID-19, and this thing kind of keeps growing and spreading and getting faster and faster. Don't worry, this will be the bleakest, most abstract track on the album, and I'm hoping the rest of it is actually going to be quite uplifting and positive. Okay, now I haven't finished track 1 yet. I'd say it's probably about 60% done, but I really want to power through these tracks and not second guess anything, not dwell on anything. So I've kicked off 3 more tracks already using 3 more oblique strategies cards. Here are the cards I found. So the instruction for the second track, the third, and here's the one for the fourth. Now that's more than enough to be getting on with for now, because I've already got video game work that I'm in the middle of and I need to start a few other projects, so yeah, I better get cracking. I'll be back in a few days.